So I received a very interesting question this morning from a customer, and they were basically asking whether or not it would be possible to use ACF Custom Database Tables to store attachment meta in custom tables. Now, obviously, ACF allows you to specify location rules that allow you to display ACF fields on the attachment form, right? And I got thinking about it, and I thought, well, it should be possible because attachments are a post type. So if you can select the attachment post type, there should be no issue here. So I thought what I'd do is I'd fire up a test and see how this works, because this isn't a part of ACF, or this isn't a feature of ACF that I use very often. In fact, I don't think I've ever used this on a project myself. But basically what I needed to do was fire up a new field group and see what was possible here. So I set up this attachment data field group with a couple of fields in there. And as soon as I went to set up the location rules, I realized this is where you would just become stuck trying to use custom database tables. Okay, so and the reason being is that the plugin expects either a post type or a user form of some description, right? So if you have a post type and you can select a post type there, you can enable a table. Or if you have a user of some type or a user form of some description, you can enable the table. But with attachments in ACF, so the attachment post type doesn't appear in the post types list. Okay, so that's a little bit, that's like the first kind of roadblock. And then when you go and you select attachment, the custom database tables plugin, it reviews these location rules and says, hey, you can't create a table because, like I can't create a table for that object. And so, yeah, I had to do a little bit of lateral thinking here on how I would get this working. And basically, it's not that hard, like it's possible. So the trick to doing this is to actually set up a custom location rule. Well, no, not to set up custom location rule. It's actually just to add a value to the post type location rules, possible values that allow you to select the attachment post type. So what I've done is I've set up a gist, and I'll link to this in the description so you can find it and read a little bit about it. But I've created this gist where it's got a code snippet in it. It's a really simple code snippet. It's basically just a filter that hooks into ACF's, hooks into ACF, into the location rule values. It's ACF/location/rule values. And we specify the type as post type because that's the location rule that we want to affect. And we're just going to add the attachment post type to the list of selectable values. So if I save that and I come back over to our admin, reload this. So if I change this over to post type, I can now select attachment, right? Now, out of the box, it's probably not actually going to work because ACF's going to use, I mean, this will allow you to create the table, but these fields probably aren't going to appear. Like if I go and update this for a second, let's just have a look. I'll go back to media. I'll open one of these and you'll see that the ACF fields, they don't appear, right? Because ACF's expecting the location rules that it knows in order to render fields here. So basically what you do is you leave this rule in place. It says post type is equal to attachment, and then you add another rule that specifies the attachment. I'll leave it as all. So it specifies the attachment form, okay? And if I update that again and reload the media page or the media library, okay, we see our fields now appear, right? Okay, so the fields are in place. Now, this isn't the entire puzzle though. So basically what we now need to do is create a table just to test this works, right? So I'm gonna enable a table for this field group. I'm going to call it attachment data, okay, and hit update. Now we can see that a definition JSON file has been created. So this is the JSON used to create the table schema and to rebuild the internal mapping system. So what I'll do is I'll hit manage database tables now, go through this process. There's a big list of table files in here only because this is my development installation, so I've got a lot of stuff active on there, but I'll hit create and update table. So this runs all the updates and changes to the database. And if I come and have a look at the database now, I'll reload here and we'll see that we've got our attachment data table and that's got our field names in there. Okay, so this is looking good so far. And now when I come back to the media library, I'll just reload. And I'll start putting in values here. So let's go Taj Mahal and let that reload. Come over, check our database table, and we see that we're getting our field values in our custom table. And just to make sure that is working, let's put some more values here and come over to our table and reload. And there we go. We've got our second media items ACF field values in there. So it was a little interesting experiment and it took a little bit of lateral thinking, but it is possible to use ACF Custom Database Tables on attachments. This is something that I will look at making possible without a snippet in a future release, but for now, like, it's a pretty simple snippet. And like I said, I'll link to the gist with the resources in the description, and I'll throw a post on the Hook 10 blog, which hopefully helps people that are in the same situation.